Hi Libra, I hope that everybody's doing well. Before we get into it, let's set the intention for this to be a space where everyone allows themselves to feel seen and validated, and ultimately for this to be a safe space and a healing space in alignment with everyone's highest good. Before I started the reading, I was hearing talk me through your outfit. You may be dressing up for something or doing something related to fashion. We're starting off with the Chariot here. The Chariot, I see like the first card that comes through in this spread as being like kind of the center focus of what you've been trying to get to, like a main theme of what's been going on for you. It seems like there have been some battles lately that you've been fighting, things that you've been working through for yourself, coming out successfully nonetheless. So it's like maybe you also are feeling like when you're being challenged that you're figuring out ways to work through what you've been challenged by to come out successfully, finding creative ways, creative solutions to issues or things that you're coming up against. It seems like you're trying to understand things from different angles as well. Maybe you're trying to understand your feelings better too. Maybe you're feeling more connected with yourself because of this, because maybe before the ways that you were doing things, that you may have felt disconnected. It's like even though previously you could have been successful with what you had been working on, maybe you were feeling disconnected from your emotions, but because you're reflecting more, you feel not just like you're successful with what you're working through, but you also now feel connected, is what I'm getting. Because you've been making the effort to really understand what's going on internally, especially on the emotional plane. I'm seeing something about babies here. Maybe a specific message. Ooh, something big is changing for you. Seems like something's being turned upside down. There's a transition that's happening here. Seeing lots of different zodiac themes. Now, these can be areas of your chart that you're focusing on right now, or these can be other people in your life. I'm looking at Cancer, I'm looking at Virgo, and I'm looking at Scorpio here. There's a question of figuring out if something is right for you to be engaging in. I'm hearing whether or not that's going to work for you. So I'm seeing you really questioning here, like whether something is balanced, whether or not you want to participate in it. It seems like a challenge kind of to me. It's like you really needed to reflect and think about things when it came to balance related to like maybe a particular dynamic or a dynamic related to like your friend relationships even. Because you could have had somebody or multiple people trying to connect with you or even reconnect with you, and you were trying to figure out whether or not it felt right for you to be participating in, like whether you thought that was conducive to the type of environment you wanted to be in. Like, is that balanced for me? Is that out of balance for me? Is this something that I'm willing to give my energy to? Definitely a sense of being emotionally connected, but then I'm seeing something quickly come to an end here. Let's see what this is about. An ending because a change is necessary. Yeah, it seems like you could be reflecting on like who you're spending time with and who you're hanging out with, who you're connecting with, who you're reconnecting with, and there may be some dynamics that are coming to an end now because you feel like people do not show up in the same way that you do, and there's a sense of recognizing that there are certain relationships that aren't worth maintaining for you any longer, Libra. Maybe you too feel like if someone's style is very different from yours, like maybe you find yourself being more easygoing and you feel like there are some people that are more short-tempered or aggressive and it's not a type of energy that you want to be around. It seems too like ending some of these cycles with certain people or like particular dynamics is more difficult for you, but it's something that you know you can do. It's just taking a lot of determination, but you're embracing the changes because you know that what you're going through is important. I'm hearing the word childish. It feels like you may want something but recognize that it's impulsive, and I don't know how you feel about that. Yeah, there's a sense of going back and forth with something you don't know about it. This is even wanting something instantly or wanting to engage in something that's related to instant gratification, but then there's a sense of sitting back and like actually thinking about this, weighing the pros and cons. You're like, should I jump into that? Should I not? Is this impulsive? Am I okay with that? Like all of these questions that you're asking yourself here. Working to reflect more often too. This feels like as well, in general, there may have been times where more impulsively you would jump into things and not have a second thought about it. And now there's a sense of you even analyzing that aspect of yourself that maybe before you didn't feel like needed to be addressed. But there's a sense in wanting to like learn more about yourself. And this isn't about you judging your decisions and being like, it's good that I do this, it's bad that I do this. This is you understanding yourself here. And that's where the value lies. So regardless of what you continue to do or stop doing, this is about you understanding why and when and where and all of that. Because I'm seeing you really trying to focus on how you make decisions and how you pull things off and like what you want to be engaging in, and also understanding because there's a difference between like when we look at our behavior, we can want things and want them impulsively, and as long as we're acknowledging that and being conscious of that, like there's nothing wrong with doing that if that's what you want to do, you know? Like in the land beyond right and wrong, um there's a sense of you just like wanting to know more about yourself and not be assigning values to your behaviors either. So it's just about like understanding it more so you can have the control that you want rather than feeling like your impulses are controlling you when it comes to your decision making. So it's like you may still go ahead and make that decision, but at least you know why or where it's coming from, or you feel like you're okaying it before you do it. You know what I mean? So it's like being conscious about what you do regardless of whether you continue or discontinue to do something. You feel me? So that's kind of what this looks like here, especially on an emotional front too. Because we're starting off with the Chariot, and the Chariot speaks about Cancer. This is like our IC, this is our moon, this is the most like delicate and precious and emotional and vulnerable area of our lives, our most like internal world, the world reflected when it comes to like nurturing and femininity and intuition. And there's a sense here of trying to understand, like, what is reciprocity to me? What is an equal dynamic to me? Like, how much can I give to other people? How can I be charitable? What do I expect in return? Do I expect something in return? Am I doing this because I expect something in return? Or am I okay just doing this? Am I okay just giving that without there being conditions put on it? And there's a sense, too, of reflecting, and maybe you're also understanding that you've outgrown some of your relationships. It's like maybe at one point in time when you were younger, this was something that you wanted to engage in, and you felt like very much on the same wave as certain people. And now there's a sense of like maybe feeling a bit differently, maybe feeling like you've matured a bit, and some things are changing. And so the ways that you're like embracing and processing yourself emotionally is changing too. And I'm seeing like a certain behavior that may have been reinforced by who you were around. I'm seeing this come to an end now, but only because you feel like it's not something that's promoting like where you are and where you're trying to get to. It's not promoting your growth, and that's the only reason why something is changing. It's like for the betterment of you. And you may still be in a process too where you're figuring this out for yourself. And this can be so many different things. It's like changing the way you think about things, changing the ways that you process your emotions, engaging in certain behaviors differently, not engaging in other things, understanding what it is that you want to keep doing, understanding what it is that you don't want to keep doing. And like going through this whole transition, and in it, like the growth that you've gained, the determination, the strength, the consistency of the transition that you're making right now, and really learning yourself. For some of you, you're building some type of like business or legacy, something that you've been studying, something that you've been working on. I'm seeing with Scorpio and Mars here too together. Scorpio is like the undoing, and how we're getting to the bottom of things, and how we're recreating things, and how we're taking them apart and building them back up differently to make it stronger, to make it more effective, things like that, how to like deconstruct something and then reconstruct that thing. And with Mars here next to it, it's like, how are we taking action? What are we building? Mars can also be related to like how we want to be making money, how we want to be asserting ourselves, what we want to be creating. It's like how we're touching the physical plane and what are we making from that. So there may be something, again, that you're building. Like for some of you, it can be, I'm hearing Esquire. For some of you, this can be some type of business model, program, something that you're building, something that you're making, something that you're continuing to build upon. It seems like you're studying also more how to step into a role that you've been growing towards as well. For some of you, there may be some people that you've been collaborating with too. And I mean, if you're learning about how to build a business or how to explore something, this can be like YouTube videos that you're watching. It doesn't have to be real people, like people in your 3D that you're interacting with, although it can be. But know too that when we talk about collaborations, it's like anything you're exchanging energy with. So this can be like a tutorial that you're watching. In the first spread, I'm looking at Cancer, Virgo, Scorpio, Aries. All right, so now I'm looking at the Four of Wands. The Four of Wands speaks about harmony, peace, balance. Things feeling better than they had been feeling before. It seems too like there's an aspect that is changing when it comes to emotionally, like how you're handling your interpersonal relationships. It's like how to not be reactive, how to be managing your stress, how you want to be playing out certain emotions that you have, if you want to play them out at all. Maybe more so even witnessing how you're feeling. This is something that's being worked on. I'm seeing that like the more you're embodying the energy of the King of Cups, the more it's going to help you with your interpersonal relationships, maybe a specific relationship, maybe one that you feel like, because you feel so emotionally invested, it's also one that you find you can be more like reactive within. So this may be something that you're working to kind of balance out for yourself. Yeah, it feels like there may be some stuff going on. I mean, and isn't there always within a particular interpersonal relationship, or maybe like a handful. It's like, because you're so invested, because you care so much, there's a sense of like maybe feeling activated or like tipped over emotionally more easily. So there's a sense of like wanting to ground within the dynamic with this person or these people, because like the more centered you are, the easier it's going to make when it comes to you needing to make critical decisions. Because I'm getting that there may be something going on, and before you make a choice, you want to make sure that you're not doing it from an emotional place. You want to make sure like that it's not purely emotional in a reactive way, if that makes sense. So it's like you want to ground before you make this choice. It looks like some type of big decision, and it looks like the more calm and centered and like zen you are, the better you're going to like make a decision for yourself. Again, I'm seeing this related to an interpersonal relationship. Yeah, so just keep this in mind. If you have a big decision that you're making, make sure that you're trying to check in with yourself before you go ahead and make a choice. Here you are, Libra. Seeing Libra and Pluto here, Pluto Scorpio energy. You may feel at times like you're preoccupied keeping tabs on someone. This can be someone at work, but this can also be like someone you live with as well. It feels too like you may be learning more stuff when it comes to your career, business related ventures. It's like you're learning more information. There may be like someone that you're kind of watching, that you're gathering information from and learning about. But I'm seeing this be related to like how you want to fulfill a certain position. For some of you, you're doing health related stuff, law related stuff. I'm getting something about houses too. Like real estate. Maybe also furnishing, design. Clothing, fashion. Keep seeing the Empress on the bottom of the deck. The Empress talks about our creativity and how we live that out. It can also speak about being pregnant, being fertile with ideas. It can also speak about like having a real 3D baby as well. But it can speak too about having a baby like a project that you're working on too. So put the energy where it plays for you. But yeah, maybe you're being guided to tap more into your creative energy, or you feel like you've been having more of an opportunity lately, or you're feeling more inspired and you want to find ways to continue expressing that, or new ways to express that for yourself. Feels like you're making some big decisions when it comes to your family and your happiness too. Or this can even be your personal satisfaction. You may be also... I don't know if this is like something that you had been doing or people coming through wanting to talk to you, but you could have been more outspoken when it comes to your relationship. It's like maybe if people came through and they were curious about your business, like you would have more freely been talking about it. But now it seems like there's less of that going on. It's like maybe you want to protect your relationship and also what you're doing, perhaps business related. You want to keep it from prying eyes. There's a sense of you like taking yourself more seriously as well. Like maybe it's about what you're doing also. When I say that, it's like what you're doing seems important, and it seems like you're also registering that as being important to you. And there's a sense of like wanting to speak and act with balance. I'm also hearing something about kindness. And yeah, I am seeing you make some sort of decision related to your happiness and or family situation. Maybe both. Again, I'm looking at Pluto and Libra here. All right, my friends, we are going to leave the reading here. I would like to thank everybody for joining. Thank you for tuning in. I'm wishing everybody love and light and healing, and I hope to catch you guys next time.